Since signing LeBron James back in 2018, the Lakers have been a bit of a roller coaster in terms of success. They started this new era of basketball off by missing the playoffs in LeBron's first season, and then winning the finals the next right after acquiring Anthony Davis. Since then, though, it's been pretty rough. Immediately following the finals, the Lakers won just 42 games and were the 7th seed in the West, eventually losing to the Suns in the first round. Then in 2021, the Lakers outright missed the playoffs, winning only 33 games. Then, after making some moves at the trade deadline last season following a slow start to the year, the Lakers managed to push themselves into the playoffs as a 7th seed. This time, though, they managed to make the conference finals before getting swept by the eventual NBA champion Denver Nuggets. While the regular season success wasn't anything crazy, it was still pretty clear that the Lakers had it in some form. Now, entering the 2022-23 season, the Lakers have made a couple moves this offseason that has fans asking the questions, can this team win another ring? For starters, all of this, and I mean all of this, depends on the health of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Obviously, LeBron and AD are still arguably two top 15 players in the NBA, but really outside of their championship season, both of these guys have failed to consistently stay healthy. LeBron's issues may not be as serious as AD's, but it's still worth mentioning, as with his growing age, it seems like LeBron's body is starting to catch up with him, as since joining the Lakers, LeBron has played more than 60 games once, this being in the Lakers championship season. Considering that prior to joining LA, LeBron hadn't played less than 60 games once, it's pretty clear that this is a real problem. Regardless, when healthy, even at 38 years old, LeBron is still a massive problem on offense. His defense may be nowhere near what it once was, but there's no denying that LeBron is still a top offensive player in the NBA. In his last 2 seasons, LeBron is averaging nearly 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on great efficiency. Really, the biggest problem with LeBron at this point in his career is that he shoots the ball too much, and by this I mean literally shooting it. As honestly, there's no reason for LeBron to be taking 7.4 threes a game like he has in his last 2 seasons. Granted, his efficiency from that range isn't too terrible, but he's coming off a season in which he shot 32% on 2 attempts, so he really needs to chill out and get to the hole more often. The Lakers' offense flows best when LeBron has the ball in his hands and is getting downhill, and despite his age, he's still one of the best athletes in the game and is finishing at the rim extremely efficiently. Honestly, something I'd like to see the Lakers do a bit more despite the amount of success they have with LeBron having the ball in his hands is to kind of experiment with him in the off-ball a little. Now, they might not have a playmaker that's quite the caliber as LeBron, but I feel like using him in maybe some Spain pick-and-roll actions, or even as just a basic off-ball cutter, could do some wonders for this Lakers offense. Anthony Davis has continued to be one of the NBA's best players since joining the Lakers when healthy, but the problem is he hasn't been. While he played 62 games in his first season with LA, he's played just 36 and 40 in his following 2, and the Lakers suffered big time. However, last season, fans had hope for the first time in a while, as not only did AD play 56 games, but he averaged an absurdly efficient 26 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks per game. AD had an absurdly good season as a paint scorer, posting his second best field goal percentage from 0 to 3 feet, while also taking the most shots he has in the paint since 2014. Overall, AD took 67% of his shots total from 0 to 3 feet, while hitting them at a 78% rate. Even outside of the paint, AD's remained a solid but not great shooter, hitting 40% of his mid-range attempts, which is slightly below league average, but not bad by any means. Meanwhile, as a 3-point shooter, he's never really been that great, so I don't expect much from him there. LeBron's still great, don't get me wrong, but it honestly feels like Anthony Davis remaining healthy this season could very well be more important to the Lakers. LeBron's scoring is great, but without AD, the Lakers' defense is going to look really rough. The Lakers played 4,189 possessions without AD last season according to Cleaning the Glass, and in these possessions, they had a defensive rating of 117, which is in the 27th percentile, compared to when AD was on the floor, they had a rating of 110, which is in the 88th percentile. So when you consider how important AD is to the Lakers' defense and offense, it's very easy to get worried when you look at the big man depth behind him. For example, Jared Vanderbilt is a great defender, even though he plays alongside AD most of the time, but he really doesn't serve much purpose on offense aside from getting to the rim and hitting easy layups and dunks. Then outside of Vanderbilt, you have Christian Wood, who has remained one of the NBA's most polarizing players, as half the fans think he's some kind of underrated star, and the other half think he's not even a rotational player. Personally, I think it's really tough to judge.
Wood is a solid all-around offensive center,
but his issues on defense make it impossible for him to get starting level minutes for any team, and when you consider that he's likely going to back up AD and start if he goes down with injury, it's really easy to worry about what could happen. Outside of Wood, the Lakers also have Jackson Hayes, who, if I'm being honest, not only should he not see the floor, he probably won't, unless Darwin Ham decides to run some Wood at the 4, Hayes at the 5 minutes, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. So again, it's really reasonable to have issues about whether AD can stay healthy or not, because I mean, just look at what's behind him. Despite this, how does the rest of the roster look outside of LeBron and AD? Well, they managed to retain D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves, 3 players who helped their offense out a ton while also managing to make a few moves this offseason, 2 of which being very underrated that could easily play a big role in the Lakers' championship hopes. For starters, we have the signing of Gabe Vincent, who was somewhat disappointing in the regular season last year, but picked it up big time in the playoffs for the Heat. While he still had his inconsistent moments, Vincent was electric against the Bucks and the Celtics, averaging 13 a game on 45% from the field and 46% from 3 on 5.8 attempts in these series. It certainly seems like the Lakers are betting for this to be somewhat of the normal for Vincent, as they signed him to a 3-year, $33 million deal. However, I think regardless of if he continues that postseason level of play, he's going to fit in very well. At the very least, he's going to provide a very solid presence on both sides of the ball while backing up D'Angelo Russell. There are going to be some tough moments for Vincent like there has been throughout his career, but overall, a very nice depth signing for the Lakers. Another move they made that I personally love is the signing of Taurean Prince, as last season, the Lakers didn't really have great wing depth. Guys like Troy Brown and Malik Beasley were solid, but they were nowhere as consistent as a contending team would have liked them to be. Now, Taurean Prince isn't the picture of consistency or anything, but what he provides is a more all-around offensive game, as well as a solid defensive presence that the Lakers didn't really have last season off the bench. Prince has had a bit of an odd career since being drafted in 2016, but during his time with the Timberwolves, he's really carved out a solid and consistent role as an offensive wing with some defensive capabilities. During his 2 seasons in Minnesota, Prince averaged 8 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist per game, while shooting 46% from the field and about 38% from 3 on 2.8 a game. Early on in his career, Prince really struggled with efficiency, but since finding a role that has him with the ball in his hands much less, he's really come on. Not only is Prince a good 3-point shooter, but his overall offensive game is very slept on. Now, Prince doesn't do a lot outside of shooting 3s at this point, as he takes about 51% of his shots from behind the arc, but when he gets the ball inside the line, he's pretty damn efficient. Last season, Prince shot 45% from mid-range on 84 attempts according to Cleaning the Glass, which ranks 74th in percentile, and it's not a lot of attempts, don't get me wrong, but it's still nice to see him be efficient from this range nonetheless. Should he up his attempts based on these numbers? Absolutely not, but it could still add some versatility in the Lakers' offense depending on what sets they are running. Overall, Prince is going to be a nice touch to the starting lineup, playing alongside LeBron and AD, and he'll be providing some consistent shooting while feeding off of a much better Lakers team compared to what he had in Minnesota. Considering that the Lakers got him for just $4.5 million, this is a big-time, low-risk, high-reward type of deal. While all 3 of the Lakers' main offseason signings have noteworthy issues, I still feel pretty confident in them working out. All of them contribute very well to one of the Lakers' biggest issues from last season, that being shooting. In 2022, the Lakers ranked 25th in 3-point percentage, hitting just 34.6% of their 3s on 31.2 attempts. So obviously adding 3 historically good 3-point shooters is going to help out this problem a ton. The Lakers' lack of 3-point shooting wasn't something that held them back a ton, but considering that only 5 playoff teams shot below league average from 3, it's not a good thing for the long run, so it was nice to see Rob Pelinka go out and make some moves to improve this area, especially with Darwin Ham recently stating that the Lakers were going to be running a more 5-out oriented offense. It's really weird to judge where the Lakers could fall in the Western Conference standings, given not only their status for this season, but other teams as well. For example, depending on how well their seasons go, I can very easily see teams like the Thunder or even the Timberwolves landing higher in the standings than LA. However, if the Lakers can stay healthy, I find it really hard to not put them in as the almost guaranteed top 5 seed. Last season, the Lakers were the 7th seed out west with a record of 43-39, which isn't the best, but with the moves they made alongside a hopefully healthy season from LeBron and AD, there's not many reasons for this team to not win more than 50 games. Now, we can talk playoffs all we want, but can the Lakers still make that push to a championship? Honestly, I don't think so. The Lakers are a great team, and they did make some great moves this offseason to fix some of their biggest issues. However, it's still difficult for me to put them over a team like the Nuggets, let alone the Bucks or the Celtics at this point given all the trades that they've made. Can the Lakers shock a lot of people in the playoffs though? Absolutely. We already saw them do that last season, but trying to judge the things that are going to happen at the end of the season this early on is just purposeless. However, what I will say is that if LeBron and Anthony Davis can remain healthy, there's a lot that can go right for this Lakers team in 2023. With that being said, I'm going to cut things off here. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think the Lakers ceiling is for this season down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one.